Hello and welcome. I am Excellite and this is my podcast. Today I have with me Rob. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Tracy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Rob,
Yes, Tracy.
would you like to tell people about smashing that button before we get started?
Can you please smash that like button, please? Because it really helps Tracy and the channel. Thank
Thank
you.
you. And if you're not already subscribed, I can't even imagine why not. Please do that. It's totally free and comes with us. And if you'd like to be notified of my content when it goes live, go ahead and click that bell and choose your options to be notified. Rob, what are we doing a podcast about today?
It's easy for you to say.
I know, I don't know what
Pirates.
that was. Pirates. We're doing a podcast about pirates. And I like this.
No Johnny Depp in sight.
No, well, that's a good thing, I think. Sorry if you guys are Johnny Depp fans, but it's kind of dirty. It's just, ugh. Anyway, pretty sure he smells bad. He dabs some rum behind each ear.
He wears
Cover it up.
eyeliner, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
I don't get that, mate. Sorry.
I don't even see it. I don't even see it. I don't know. But so does that what's his name? The comedian that I really like that I keep telling you about.
Eddie Izzard.
Ah, Eddie. Yes. I do love him. He is not a pirate though. Anyway, is this our first podcast since the 31 days of Halloween?
It certainly is.
Well, what'd you think of it?
Thought it was terrible.
Did you? Thank you.
No, thought it was really good.
I really enjoyed it. And then on November 1st, my brain came to a screeching halt. Like the gears locked up. I'm getting back in the swing of things. All right, Rob. Let's talk about pirates. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. If that's okay with
Okay.
you.
Sure.
Here we go. For over 300 years, the coastlines of southwest England were at the mercy of Barbary pirates. From the coast of North Africa, based mainly in the ports of Algiers, Tunisia, and Tripoli, their number included not only North Africans but also English and Dutch pirates. Their aim was to capture slaves for the Arab slave markets in North Africa. The Barbary pirates attacked and plundered not only those countries bordering the Mediterranean, but as far north as the English Channel, Ireland, Scotland, and even Iceland,
Hmm.
and the western coast of England was being raided at will, partly as a result of the inadequate naval deterrent. By the early 17th century, the situation was so bad that the entry into the calendar of the state papers in May 1625 stated the Turks are upon our coasts. They take ships not only to take men and to make slaves of them. Right. Barbary pirates raided on land as well as sea in August 1625. Mount Bay in Cornwall captured 60 men, women, and children, taking them into slavery. In 1626, at St. Cavern was reportedly attacked. Boats out of Loo, Penzance, Mousehole, and other Cornish ports were boarded, their crews taken captive. So they're attacking them at sea.
Right. Did you
While they
say mouse hole?
yeah, Mousehole and other
Okay.
Cornish ports were boarded, their crews taken captive,
Mm.
and their empty ships left to drift.
Ooh, ghost
It was
ships.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Well,
scary.
I think that is what added to something's just wrong in my head. Um, the Flying Dutchman.
Oh, right. Yeah.
If you remember the Flying Dutchman, because it was found
Right.
drifting at sea with completely empty.
Yeah. That's scary.
So um, that probably could have been what happened. That all
Mm-hmm.
their crew was taken and put into slavery and sold as slaves.
Mm.
Sir John Eliot, Vice Admiral of Devon, declared the seas around England seemingly theirs. The situation was so bad in December 1640. Do you remember 1640?
Do I? I remember it well, actually. It was a good year.
A committee from Algiers was set up by Parliament to oversee the ransoming of captives. What are you doing there?
What are you
It
talking about? What
sounds
am I
like
doing?
it sounds like you're opening bottles, like beer
It
bottles.
does?
Yeah,
It sounds like I'm opening beer bottles.
yeah, like with
All
a
right, you got
bottle
me.
opener.
I'm
Oh, I can hear
opening
this
beer
clicking.
bottles
Right?
just randomly. I don't know. Sorry.
Oh, but opening bottles of rum. You don't have to
Yes.
get into the part that much.
Yes. I feel like a pirate.
At the time, it was reported that there were some 3,000 to 5,000 English people in captivity in Algiers. Charities were also set up to help ransoms, and captives and local fishing communities clubbed together to raise money to liberate their own. Now, can you remember, not personally, but when
Hmm.
you was at school, um, we're talking around about the 1640s.
Hmm.
When did slavery start in America?
Oh,
Uh,
oh gosh.
Is it was it later than 1640?
Yes.
It was.
Yes, yes, yeah, I believe so, yes. Yes,
It's-
it was later than that. Let me look it up. Um, you keep talking and I'll let you know.
In 1645, another raid by the Barbary pirates on the Cornish coast saw 240 men, women, and children kidnapped. The following year, Parliament sent Edmund Casson to Algiers to negotiate the ransom and release of the English captives. He paid an average of £30 per man, woman, and
It
child.
says 1619, the first 19 or so Africans reached the English colonies. They arrived at Jamestown, Virginia in 1619. They were brought by English privateers. Um, privateers are, I'm going to be, privateer, do you know what privateer is?
No, is it? It's no.
Okay, so um, a country would hire privateers to raid pirates, and
Yeah.
everything they got off the boat they would give to the country, and the country would give them a percentage. So they were like hired pirates, and
Like mercenaries.
yeah, and after it became illegal to bring slaves to the country, the privateers would go and stop these slave ships because they were still coming. It was just illegal. They would go stop these slave ships, take the slaves off, bring them into the country, and once they were here, then it was like, well, you're here, so I guess you're staying. So I'm not quite sure what the illegal part did, but Jean Lafitte, who's a very famous pirate, pirateer, excuse me, he was hired to do that, to stop slave ships and to take all their goods off of it, to try and discourage slave ships from coming, because once they made that journey, everything was taken off, their slaves were taken off, they got no money. So they was trying to discourage the bringing in of slaves. That wasn't for a little bit longer, but 19 Africans. They would baptize them in Africa before bringing them over. Well, wasn't that nice?
Because we don't really hear about, when we talk about slavery, we don't necessarily think about all these European people being sold into slavery. And it's a similar time, 1650s.
Yeah. Yeah, that's strange. I don't. But you know, the podcast that I did with Jory and Brian, we were talking about Shanghai, and they would kidnap American men who went into bars and stuff and got drunk.
Yeah.
They would have those doors that they would fall through, put them on ships and use them as slaves, send them off, sell them as slaves. Or they would work on the ship for 2 years and they would bring them back. Or you could die, whichever, you know. It was your choice, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bad time, to say the least.
This next bit's interesting. By the 1650s, the attacks were so frequent that they threatened English fishing industry. It threatened the English fishing industry, with fishermen so reluctant to put to sea, leaving their families unprotected ashore.
Wow.
Oliver Cromwell, you've heard of Oliver Cromwell, haven't you?
Yes.
Decided to take action and decreed that the capture of pirates should be taken to Bristol. Bristol's just a little bit further up the coast, further north than where I am now. Were taken to Bristol and slowly drowned.
Whoa.
Lundy Island, where pirates from the Republic of Sale made their base, were attacked and bombarded, but despite this, the pirates continued to mount raids on coastal towns and villages of Cornwall and Devon and Dorset. Those kidnapped...
Sorry, can I ask you a question? How much would they pay for men, women, and children?
To buy them back?
Yeah.
£30.
That had to be excruciatingly expensive, right?
Yeah. Well, they ran out of money. It was so expensive.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the United States ran out of money. They couldn't afford to pay what Tripoli was demanding that they pay to get our people back, because we were just a young country. So we ran out of money, and we were like, guess, sorry.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, they even formed charities. Some of the first charities were saying to actually try and fund the getting the pirate, buying the people back that had been taken, but they ran out of money.
And they would take children.
Men, women, and children. Yeah, men, women, and children.
Why does this become such a depressing topic?
Hang on, I'll read that little bit again. Excuse me. In 1645, another raid by Barbary pirates on the Cornish coast saw 240 men, women and children kidnapped. The following year, Parliament sent Edmund Casson to the Algiers to negotiate the ransom and release of English captives. He paid on average £30 per man, woman. Sorry, no, he didn't. He paid on average £30 per man. Women were more expensive to ransom.
Wow.
Well, probably because...
Yeah, well.
Yeah. They managed to free some 250 people before the money ran out. Casson spent the last 8 years of his life trying to arrange the release of a further 400.
Wow. So they would take English people to Africa to use as slaves.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this before.
No, I haven't either.
Interesting.
Must have left that little bit
crazy.
out of lessons at school.
I guess so. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, we did learn about, or we were taught that the Irish people were sold into slavery. A lot of Irish people were sold into slavery.
Oh, really?
And that's how a lot of them ended up in America.
What?
Yeah, they were taken to America as slaves.
I wonder if that was my family.
Well, yeah, because yeah.
Huh.
You've got Irish ancestry, haven't you?
Yes, a lot. Huh, interesting. This is very interesting, Rob.
Those kidnapped would be sent to slave markets of the Ottoman Empire to be bought as labourers or concubines. Sorry, or pressed into galleries where they would. Sorry, I don't understand this next bit. You'll have to excuse me, everybody. Or pressed into galleries. Oh, sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Or pressed into galleys where they would man the oars.
Yes.
Sorry, it's wrote weird. The punctuation sometimes isn't very good on this stuff on Google.
Mm-hmm.
The Spanish novelist Miguel de Cervantes, author of Don Quixote, was a captive in Algiers between 1575 and 1580.
Wow.
Where he was ransomed by his parents.
Oh, gosh.
Where he was ransomed by his parents and a Catholic religious order.
That's crazy. How come we don't know that? I mean, that's a hugely famous book, story.
Well, the Barbary slave trades even featured in Samuel Pepys's diary in an entry from the 8th of February 1661. Went to the Fleece Tavern to drink, and there we spent till 4 o'clock telling stories of Algiers and the manner of the life of slaves there, and truly Captain Moveman and Mr. Dawes did make me fully acquainted with their conditions there as... Oh, well, you have to make that up yourself. It's wrote in Old English and I can't read it. Sorry, guys.
Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah. And the theft there is counted no great crime at all. That's it, finished. So that's something had to be done in 1675. Backed by the Royal Navy Squadron, managed to negotiate a peace with the Tunisians. A heavy naval bombardment by the British then brought out a similar peace with Tripoli. Algiers was also attacked by sea, not only by British warships, but also by the French, Spanish, United States.
We did.
fought 2 wars against the Barbary states of North Africa. The
Yep.
First Barbary War in 1801 to 1805 and the Second Barbary War in 1815 to 1816. Finally, after an attack by British and Dutch in 1816, more than 400 Christian slaves were liberated. Sorry, more than 4,000 Christian slaves were liberated,
Wow.
and the power of the Barbary pirates was broken. The end.
Wow. I was thinking, like, at what point does the British Navy just go over and pound the shite right out of them? You know? That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
very, very interesting.
but we had to wait for the Americans to come and join in like they did every war
Yeah,
before he got it done.
we we take our time. We get there eventually. But you have to remember, America was only like a minute and a half old. We didn't have a navy. We had to hire pirateers. So we're like, we're just gonna send these guys over there and cross fingers. Okay. Well, I'll do my first one. Um, let's see. I'm going to do.
Have you got more than one?
I have 3 different sections to do. Yeah.
Oh, teacher's pet.
I
You're
know.
the
I know.
you're the teacher. I'm the pet.
Okay. I'm Beauty or Beast.
That'll do you.
Okay.
Could go worse.
That's creepy. That's a creepy movie. It's a creepy story. I don't want to talk about it. Okay.
Okay.
It is. She falls in love with an animal, for God's sakes. Like, what is wrong here? Okay. So this is an article that was written in my home state of Washington, which, by the way, also has one of the most, how am I going to put this? Most occurrences of missing people in national parks. Woot. Okay. So the pirates in the United States have a long history, sometimes good, sometimes bad. When the infant country declared independence, it had no navy, so battling Britain at sea was a problem. The time-honored solution: hire private warriors, known as privateers, to some, pirates to others, to do our fighting. The Continental Congress formalized the process in 1776. During the Revolutionary War, the United States issued some 1,700 letters of marque, which was commissioning privateers to battle on a per-voyage basis. Nearly 800 vessels were commissioned as privateers and are credited with capturing or destroying about 600 British ships. Sorry about that, Ron. The country was only a few years old when President Jefferson sent the Marines to the shores of Tripoli in 1801 to deal with the Barbary pirates who had taken American ships and sailors hostage. Naval and land battles with those pirates continued from time to time until a second war in 1815 ended, and all U.S. payments to the pirates were stopped. One of the most prominent pirates to serve the United States was Jean Lafitte, who operated out of Louisiana. During the War of 1812, Lafitte was approached by the British to join them. Instead, he promptly warned U.S. authorities, and he and his pirates joined General Andrew Jackson in the Battle of New Orleans. The Confederate States of America used privateers in the Civil War. So, there you go. Jean Lafitte has, I think, I'll be talking about that in a little while. About there's a bar in Louisiana that is Jean Lafitte's bar, and it's one of the oldest buildings in the United States. But Um, and I've been in it, and it was made for short people. So Rob has left me for a minute, so it's just me. It's just you and me, guys. What should we talk about? Let's see. I'm putting my Christmas tree up today. Shh. Don't tell people I'm one of those crazy people. But it brings me a lot of joy. So, aside from pirates, which have not brought me a lot of joy so far, Christmas trees bring me a lot of joy. And it's getting cold here in Texas. And what else should I talk to you about? What do you want to know? Exit Light Baby's doing well. He is very long and doesn't hardly weigh anything, but he's very tall. And he rolled over for the first time. So there you go. There's your update on Exit Light Baby. What else should I talk about while Rob has left me here babbling on to you guys? What I would appreciate is if you guys have ideas for holiday-themed scary stories. Scary stories that are based like in fall or especially Christmas kind of horror stories. Like I've done a story about Elf on the Shelf, which is, let's face it, it's creepy as heck. I've done Santa's Elves. I've done a bad Santa who, I think I've done that a couple times, who like isn't very nice to his elves and forces them to work for him. And so if you guys have other ideas about stuff that would be good for stories that have to do with Christmas in particular, I would love that. Go ahead and write those down below and give me some ideas. Rob's back. Are you there, Rob?
Yeah, sorry.
I've been talking to myself.
I left you a message. Did you not get it?
Well, yeah, but I couldn't have dead air. So I've been talking to the peoples about Desmond.
Oh, nice
About
one.
my Christmas tree going up today.
My Christmas tree's already up, by the way. So just
yes,
so
it is. Yes.
Did you see the photo there?
Yes, I commented on it.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, the girls did it.
Yes, they did. They did a very good job as well.
All right, Rob. Do you have more? Do you have something else to talk about?
That's all I could find, really.
Okay.
Well, can I just? In fact,
yes.
Yeah, I do have something else to talk about.
Okay.
Just 1 second. Let me just find legendary creatures as well as pirates appear in Cornish folklore, including giants and piskies. Tales of these creatures are thought to have developed as supernatural explanations. Basically, what the reason I've gone off kilter here is a lot of the Cornish folklore about sea monsters and things like this were to scare people and stop them going to sea because of the pirates.
Oh.
And a lot of the because we've got a lot of cliffs and dangerous beach areas around Cornwall. That's really, really difficult to navigate when you're sailing or when you're in a ship or in a boat. And we used to have lots and lots of shipwrecks, and it was basically a way of teaching children. This is where a lot of the legends came from, that you shouldn't go near to the sea, or you shouldn't mess about on the beaches or mess about on the cliffs, because there were sea monsters there that used to take ships down. And all this was to do
the Kraken?
with the Kraken. And I'm from Manchester. Crack is a completely different thing up there. But, but that's another podcast.
Anyway, there goes my money.
Yeah, so that's why we've got such a lot of legends around that are based around the sea and around pirates because people were warned off about, especially about strangers coming into the villages and things like that, because they were believed to all be pirates and things like that. So, the reason I struggled because not only do we have pirates from years and years ago, we actually have a rugby team in Cornwall called the Cornish Pirates. So doing any kind of research, you nearly got a podcast about a rugby team. So I had to...
Well, that's one way. But if you talked about it, I'm like an matey kind of a way, maybe people would know the difference.
Okay. I won't be doing that.
You never liked my impressions or whatever. I thought it was good.
Okay.
I am Matey. I'm a pirate. I would have made a good pirate. Thank you.
I bet pirates didn't even talk like that.
What? Of course they did. Well, if they were mostly from Africa, they probably didn't. What the heck are our movies showing? I mean,
I know.
Johnny Depp is in no way, shape, or form from Africa.
He has got dreadlocks.
I guess, but it's so weird. Why do we have this? Aye, matey. That's not really what they. Well, it's weird. Okay.
And what's all this about the Pirates of the Caribbean? There weren't any pirates in the Caribbean.
well, they were.
They're all in the Mediterranean.
Well, they were in the Caribbean too, because I got some stuff about the Caribbean. How do you say it? Because you know what's weird is like I went on a cruise. Yes, I went on a Caribbean cruise, but then you watch Pirates of the Caribbean. We just say it two different ways, and it's okay, right?
Well, my dad used to say Caribbean.
Yeah, it's
Caribbean.
When we were Caribbean. That's probably how they would say it.
Caribbean. Listen, it's Caribbean. What are we doing here? What am I talking about?
You're making fun of me again. Whatever.
I don't make fun of you. People know that I don't make fun of you. You're the only one who does the making fun of.
Okay, Caribbean.
Okay, lovely. That sounds perfect.
It's kind of got a little Jamaican in there.
Well, where's Jamaica?
Yes, I know.
It's in the Caribbean.
It's in the Caribbean. Caribbean. I don't know. Leave me alone. All right. Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk about places along the southern coast of the United States and how they were involved with pirates. Are you ready?
Yeah, just try southern. So would that be Texas, wouldn't it? And
yeah. Well, it's not going to talk about Texas, but Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, North Carolina, South Carolina. But Texas, Galveston, the island of Galveston, was Jean Lafitte, took over the island of Galveston, and him and his pirateers lived there until they were chased out. And this is okay. So I was watching a documentary, which shouldn't be surprising, and they were talking about how in the Gulf of Mexico off of Texas, they have found pirate ships and privateers, and that they've found in some of them what their cargo was. They're sunk. They're sunk. What their cargo was, but the ones that don't have any cargo, like there's no pottery, there's nothing, no metals, they were probably carrying slaves, and so they either sank with the boat because they would be crammed down in the bottom
Yeah.
with just a small little thing to get out of. And so if they were attacked by privateers and sank, they wouldn't be able to get out. If the privateers got onto the boat, then they would take them, like I said, take them to what is Texas, and then they would sell them and sell the goods, and the government would pay them and all that stuff. But they said that when they find a empty privateer ship like that, they really don't know if it's if the contents were human, and now there's just no sign of them left, or if they were possibly taken out, which is just hard to grasp, I think. Anyway, if you want to learn about that, you can go on to Drain the Oceans. They are not paying me to say that, but it's very interesting. Okay, so second only to the Caribbean, America's southeastern coast is rich with destinations thick with tales of piratical plunder. Who made that word? Piratical. And maritime misdeeds. So, we're going to talk about it. Florida. With the longest coastline in the lower 48, Florida stretches from the Atlantic almost all the way to the Caribbean, and then around to the Gulf of Mexico. So along the way, as yarns just as lengthy about pirates landing on Florida shores, a perfect port of call for them would have been St. Augustine, which is home to St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, which is pretty cool. The museum is reckoned, that was a southern thing to say, to be the largest collection of pirate artifacts, and the exhibits include Blackbeard's original blunderbuss, one of only 3 known remaining Jolly Roger flags in the entire world. That's, first off, Blackbeard was a real person. That's just, I don't know. I love history. Let's see. And the only known authentic pirate treasure chests in the whole world are in St. Augustine, Florida, in a museum. Pirate treasure chests. Anyway, of course, for pirate raids of the milder and more air-conditioned variety, you can go to Pirates of the Caribbean in Disney World. Okay, Georgia. Georgia's coastline might be short, but is one of the most storied with respect to pirate activity. Why? Well, here we go. There's Blackbeard Island off the state's coast, where the notorious pirate's booty is said to remain buried to this day. In Savannah, you'll find one of the state's most historic restaurants, the Pirate's House, the oldest standing building in Georgia. Its construction was started in 1734. There you go, Rob.
What's that?
1734 it was constructed.
70. Okay.
Originally a home for a gardener and then a tavern for seamen. Sea peoples. Its modern iteration is a restaurant. The city is even mentioned numerous amounts of times in Robert Louis Stevens' novel Treasure Island. And the Pirate House is where locals believe the book's Captain Flint died. That's pretty cool. This is making me want to go to these places. Louisiana. Louisiana's most infamous pirate was the smuggler Jean Lafitte. Don't you just like to say his name? Jean Lafitte. I love it. Who redeemed his reputation and received a full pardon from President Jackson for helping the U.S. Navy defeat the British in the War of 1812. Lafitte's haunts were the swampy backwaters of Barataria near New Orleans, known today as the Jean Lafitte National Historic Park and Preserve. In New Orleans' French Quarter is Lafitte's blacksmith shop. Built in the 1720s, it's said to be the oldest structure used as a bar in the United States. Not always a drinking establishment, though. The legend has it that there was plenty of drinking there from the get-go. It was originally a blacksmith and purportedly the base of operations for Jean Lafitte. I've been there. I've taken my children there.
I've been there. Yes, we know you've been everywhere. Stop rubbing it in. I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there.
Everywhere on Rob's bucket list, I'm like, I've been there. Sorry, but you live in Cornwall, so that's an automatic win. I've been there. Someday you come visit me, I'll take you to Jean Lafitte's.
Okay.
They actually stop there on the ghost tours, and so I've taken my kids in to take a break and be in the bar, whatever. I'm a good mom. North Carolina. 2018 marked the 300th anniversary of the death of Edward Teach, who was Blackbeard, who met his fate on the North Carolina coast. His ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, which ran aground off the Carolina coast, is now on the National Register of Historic Places. Towns like Beaufort, Ocracoke. If you guys, I know you will, would like to tell me how that's pronounced, feel free. Bath and Greenville, with spots all along the Outer Banks, are steeped in tales about the vilest of pirates. Opportunities to discover local kitsch, craft commerce, genuine historic artifacts are many. So I would like to go there and see where the Queen Anne's Revenge was sank. That's cool. Haven't been there, Rob.
Yeah, but if you go there, you can make sure you tell me a million times. I've been there.
I just told my husband today that I would like to go take a trip there in the spring. So I'll let you know. I'll send you pictures.
Okay, thank you. Let's rub it in a little bit more.
Coastal South Carolina is similarly. This is a word that when I write a story and I'll say write similarly, that I really can't say. Like my mouth can't form similarly. So if you ever hear me say that word in a story, it literally slows down to like similarly, or I just say just like it. It's very close, almost the same, because I can't say it. I'll read it 100 times, and it just gets worse and worse. There you go. There's the inner workings of me writing. Okay. Of particular interest is Charleston, where Blackbeard blockaded the city back in 1718 until he received medical supplies for his crew. Charleston is also where the gentleman pirate Stede Bonnet, please tell me if it's Bonnet, I think it's Bonnet, was hanged the same year. So that's pretty cool, I think. And I really didn't know about that pirate history on the coast over there, I would have gone a long time ago. I have one more, Rob. I have women pirates. I know you've been looking forward to this.
Mm.
Did you know the U.S. has a history of women pirates? Let
Nothing
me
would
tell you about
surprise
it.
me about the US.
Nothing at all. Most pirates were men. Duh. In fact, it was traditionally believed to be bad luck to have a woman on board a pirate vessel. Of course. We do know of a few women who were also pirates. Like men, some turned to piracy for the money, some for the adventure, and some to escape terrible situations. The years from 1650s to the 1720s have been described as the golden age of piracy. Not if you were over there in Tripoli and Cornwall. Mm-mm. Much of the piracy during this period was associated with the colonization of the Americas, the African slave trade, the Asian trade routes, the Caribbean, and the seaboard of North America were very active. Let's talk about the women folk, shall we? Anne Bonny. Anne
Pardon?
Bonny was born in Ireland,
Oh.
but raised in the early 1700s in Charlestown, which is now Charleston, South Carolina, by her father and his mistress, Anne's mother, her father's wife. She stayed in Ireland. Well, that was nice of her. Against her father's wishes, she married a small-time pirate whose name was James Bonny. In response, her father disowned her. Anne and James moved to the Bahamas, a sanctuary for English pirates. James eventually turned informant to the governor, turning in many of his former comrades, so Anne spent time in the taverns with some other pirates and fell in love with John Calico Jack Rackham,
Oh yeah.
pirate captain of the Revenge. Anne joined Calico Jack as part of his pirate crew. They were active until they were captured in 1720 and sentenced in Jamaica to be hanged for piracy. Anne was pregnant at the time, so her punishment was postponed until she gave birth, but no one knows what happened to her after that. Some say that she was hanged. Others say that she returned to Charleston and lived a normal life. Mary Critchett. Mary Critchett was one of 6 convicts sent from England to Virginia to work off their criminal sentences. Thank you for that, England. Appreciate that. You guys had a knack for sending off people you didn't like to different countries, didn't you? Like, oh, hey, Australia, we're going to send some people over there. Hey, Louisiana, take our prostitutes and robbers.
Well, we had to put them somewhere.
Those towers were just getting too full. Mary Critchett. Okay, so did that. In the middle of the night of May 12, 1729, Mary and the other prisoners escaped. They boarded the vessel John and Elizabeth. They overpowered the crew and confined them to the hold of the ship, with Mary sitting on the hatch to prevent their escape. How big was this girl?
Had a big booty.
She had a big pirate booty. The prisoner crew, who are now pirates, because we got you, tag, you're it, since they stole the vessel, sailed into Chesapeake Bay. They were captured shortly afterwards, and Mary and her compatriots were tried in Williamsburg, Virginia, convicted of piracy, and sentenced to hang.
Hang from the neck until you are dead.
Until you are dead. That's a vital part of that, yes. No, thank you. Rachel Wall was born. Oh, by the way, Rachel Wall, female pirate. Rachel Wall was born in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, in about 1760. Who is born in Pennsylvania? Like the calmest place in the United States, and thinks, there could be a pirate. It's very strange. In 1760, she was drawn to the sea. She left home at 16 years old. She met George Wall, who was a fisherman, and with him she traveled to Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. After disappearing for a time, George returned in 1781 and convinced Rachel to join him as a pirate. I was a fisherman, but now I'm a pirate. Will you come with me? After stealing a ship, they targeted vessels up and down the New Hampshire coast. They would pretend that they were in stress. This is my favorite story, okay? They would pretend that they were a boat in stress. They had Rachel call to nearby vessels for help. So imagine this, okay? There's a vessel, and there's a woman sitting on the plank. Woohoo! Gentlemen, my boat isn't working. Here, kitty kitty.
I've been there.
I was telling you the story of me. You're right. I've been there. Done that. Had a few too many drinks. Anyway.
God, I'm going to regret this.
I think you might. But isn't that funny that she was just like, they were like, oh my God, there's a woman in a pirate ship all by herself. We should go over. It's like a Bugs Bunny thing. You know how Bugs Bunny used to dress up as a girl and be like, yoo-hoo, and have a fan over his face?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me. Like, oh, look at my poor vessel. Oh, come help me. And then they would rob them. I love it. Anyway, when they approached to render her aid, they would be robbed. In 1782, George and many of the crew drowned when their vessel was wrecked. Rachel survived and continued a career in robbing vessels. She targeted vessels docked in Boston Harbor, sneaked aboard in the night, and stole from the sleeping crew. In 1789, she was accused of stealing a bonnet and other articles from a woman walking down the street. Rachel denied the theft because she's just a pirate. I'm just a woman in a boat. But she did admit to several acts of piracy, so she was hanged in Boston Common on October 8th, 1789. There you go. Thank you. I'm opening beer bottles.
What you like?
I've been there. Rob, I enjoyed this. I think I learned a lot.
Yeah.
It was almost as good as a documentary, Rob.
Well, can't beat a documentary, can we?
No, it was close.
Hey, thank you.
We're probably going to get an Emmy or something.
I don't think we should hold our breath.
Probably not, but I could tell you what it was better than. Monsters versus Monsters.
Yeah.
Worst podcast ever.
Well,
for
the least we say about that, the better.
Yeah. I'm sorry that it turned out so bad for you, Rob. Some of your answers were okay.
Oh.
I was there. Well, Rob, I think that's all. Is that all?
It is, yeah. It is.
All right, then. Thank you for doing this with me, Rob. I like this one.
It's been okay. It's been fun.
Next time we can do like zombie pirates or the ghost of pirates. Actually, that would be kind of fun.
The
The
Flying
Ghost of
Dutchman.
Blackbeard. Yeah, the Flying Dutchman. Scooby-Doo has covered several of these, but we could probably do better.
Oh gosh. Scooby fucking do.
All right.
Unbelievable.
If you guys have not by now subscribed, what on earth are you waiting for? I mean, what more could you want? And
Scooby
would
Doo.
you Scooby Doo? Please give this video a thumbs up. It's out of mercy. And click that bell if you want to be notified when my content goes live. And why wouldn't you? Good night.
Good night.